Hey, welcome to another episode of the Philosophy Podcast. I am your host, Controversy, and to my right, ladies and gentlemen, my co-host, Mr.
Darren Love!
And together, we are the Philosophy Podcast. Thank you to you guys for tuning in to a brand new episode. Thank you for tuning in once again this week, guys. And as we always say, what is on the agenda for this week? What is today's
hot topic?
That's it. What's today's hot topic, mate?
I thought we'd talk about jealousy today.
So this week and today, we're talking all about
jealousy.
Jealousy. So what are your thoughts and your ideas and your opinions and your perspectives on jealousy, mate?
Well, there's a lot of it in this world, isn't there?
There is. I like that. Good start.
I'd call this world a jealous world today. A very jealous world, if anything. There's a lot of jealousy everywhere. I think
it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
As someone personally who's not like that at all, you know what I mean? I'm always happy for other people. I love to see other people winning, you know what I mean? Because when it's my time to win, I want people to see me happy, you know what I mean? To be happy for me too. You know what I mean? I love to see other people winning. And I'm even willing to help someone else to try to win in life, if I can, in any way, if you see what I mean. So sometimes when I encounter people like this, or I realise certain people have this mindset, it's like, it kind of baffles me, if you see what I mean. Like, I find it hard to understand, like, how can you hate on the next person? You don't know what they had to do to get to where they are in life, or how successful they are financially, or whatever the case may be. You don't know that person's backstory. They might have come from nothing. You're just judging now what you're seeing now. You might see that person living their best life because they're now reaping the rewards and the results from their hard work that they've put in for 10 or 20 years. But you're only seeing the good part of it. You don't know that person's backstory. So you want to be jealous, you want to be envious of that person, or want to wish and think what they had, or wish bad on that person or whatever. To me, that just is. To me, it's almost foreign to me. It just makes no sense, you know. So.
I think there's lots of different types of jealousy, isn't there?
Yeah. It's true.
People get jealous of women, don't they? Especially men, I think.
Yeah.
Or money.
Yeah.
Apparently, I was reading about jealousy. Sometimes jealousy can save a relationship. But sometimes it can destroy it.
It's true. Well, it just depends. Like, I think in that type of instance, it depends on the circumstance. Like, sometimes, like, a woman might intentionally try to make a man jealous just to see whether or not he cares. And if he reacts a certain way, like in a defensive type way, where he's like, no, like, you're my woman, like, we're in a relationship, and I don't want anything to come in between what we've got, whatever. Then she might be like, oh wow, he really does care, you know what I mean? Because sometimes women are like that. Not saying all women, and I'm sure there's men that do that too, probably too as well, I'm sure. But I'm just talking from, from obviously being a man, and there are women out there like that might intentionally try to test you just to see how much you actually care. And when you give them when they see that you respond in the way that they hope that you'd respond, they might even admire you and love you even more. Because they'd be like, you know what, because sometimes a woman, sometimes us men, we can, obviously we're not as, we're not emotionally based creatures as much as women, and sometimes we don't always communicate as well as women, if you see what I mean, in a relationship. I think sometimes when that happens, sometimes a woman might think, oh, that the man doesn't care, you know what I mean, he's not interested, or he's lost interest, or whatever the case may be. And then when she gets that, like I said, when she gets that response that she wants, it's kind of like a confirmation for her of like, oh, this guy does love me. He does. He is. He does care. There is. Whatever.
Sometimes I think like.
But also you've got people who are jealous and possessive and controlling and manipulative and etc. in a negative, in a very negative way. See what I mean?
It's all just to do with understanding, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, you know. It's like I understand a lot more than I did 15 years ago when I was married. Do you know what I mean? You know, sometimes I'm not the jealous kind of person. Do you know what I mean? I never have been, to be honest with you. Do you know what I mean? And I had a very beautiful woman when I married her, and she was very beautiful. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes when I went out, do you know what I mean? A number of men were chatting up a little bit. Do you know what I mean? But maybe because I'm not the jealous type, it doesn't work. Do you know what I mean? You know, that a woman likes a man that gets jealous. Do you know what I mean? In a funny way, if you sort of mean. You know?
Right.
You know, but like so, it's one thing I don't feel like I've never been jealous.
Yeah, same.
You know, at school, not even at school, I don't think I was ever jealous. You know, but there's a lot of jealousy at school, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? Especially with fashion.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That does happen.
Yeah. You know, but I mean, when I was at
people might be jealous of you, if you see what I mean. They might see you and you know. Where...
Well, when I was at school 50 years ago, I think school uniform wasn't so important.
Yeah.
If you sort of mean, it's only just sort of like they've merged it in slowly. Do you know what I mean? That you've got to wear a school uniform now. You know, and I remember when I was a child, I think we did have a uniform, but only the parents that could afford it.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and if you couldn't afford it, do you know what I mean? And I know that there was some scruffy children, whatever, that used to get picked on by the other children. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, that's what kind of happens, doesn't it? You know, like, you know, there's a lot of jealousy, isn't there? Where some parents can afford to sort of give their children beautiful clothes, expensive clothes, whatever, the best trainers, and the other children can't. You know, and they can't look as good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a bit unfair really when you think about it all. But now that, you know, in this modern age, all the children have got to wear a uniform, you know, look quite smart, you know what I mean? So that trouble's kind of gone now, where I don't think children get picked on so much, if you see what I mean.
And one good thing I must say too, that I realised in the UK as well, is that, I was going to say, thankfully I'm in a position that I've never had to, I've always been able to buy everything my kids need, you know, but there are people out there that are in very hard, dire circumstances, and in the UK they will actually give people help. The government will actually help people to contribute towards their kids' school uniforms if they need it. And not only that, but I remember last year, me and my wife got a letter from the school. Well, everyone got a letter from the school, but my son brought home this letter from school and we opened it, and it was basically a letter to all parents from the school saying that if you're one of these parents who is in hardship, that there are school uniforms that people at the end of the year, if they no longer fit and they're in still good like trousers and skirts and you know polo shirts and you know jumpers and whatever else that they have to wear, all the ones that are in good condition but they've been donated because they no longer fit and they've had to buy a bigger size or whatever the case may be, there's people that can actually go into the school and get some of those free uniforms that might fit their kids, that are still in good condition, if you see what I mean, still able to wear them, still able to look smart and you know still good condition. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I think that's I don't know if there's a lot of people out there that might not necessarily know this, that might be in very very hard circumstances, really struggling or whatever, might be a single mum or whatever. So there are things out there that you can get help. You know what I mean? If you are really struggling that much, that So just wanted to quick little bit like PSA, public service announcement.
But jealousy, I think, is quite a nasty thing to yourself. That's the thing.
Right.
So if you're getting jealous, you're not going to be happy, are you? Do you know what I mean? It's the opposite to happiness, isn't it? Yeah. If you see what I mean, you're jealous of somebody else's happiness, basically, aren't you?
That happens too. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes people won't even hate you for your possessions
or wealth.
Or your wealth. They hate you just because of who you are.
Or your looks.
Or your looks. Or how other people receive you as well. They might see that you might get a lot of love from a lot of people. Everywhere you go, a lot of people got love for you because they know you're a genuine, good person, clean-hearted, clean mind, clean conscience kind of person, like, and sometimes certain people don't like that. If you see it, they're jealous of that. They'd be like, why don't I get, why don't I receive that love? Like, why am I not getting that love? Why is he getting, what's he done to deserve everyone responding to him in this way and treating him a certain way? Why is that not me? That's happened to me before. I can say that without, a few times. So.
I mean, in a way, wishing is jealousy, isn't it? Like, I wish that I was your age, say, yeah.
Well, I don't think necessarily. I think it's more so. Well, I think it just depends on what you wish for, of course. But I think when you
you wish for somebody else's wife who's already married.
Well, that is, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things that you can have.
Yeah.
Wishing sometimes to be someone else, maybe like your favourite idol.
Yeah.
On TV.
But that's why
not being happy with yourself, basically. Do you know what I mean? That's what it is.
But isn't it funny too? In the Bible, one of the 10 Commandments in the Bible, if you're a religious person, but obviously all of us have heard about it. Well, most people have heard about the commandments in the Bible anyway. And one of them is, you've got the 10 Commandments. And Moses.
You've never heard of them. Never heard of them.
But
Jesus.
One of the commandments is you should not covet. Thou shalt not covet. And that's exactly what that is. What you were just saying, coveting, wanting someone else's possessions or what they've got, their wife or their life or their.
I call it jealousy almost.
But today we call it jealousy. We call it envy.
Yeah. So I think like wishing sometimes can destroy you. Yeah.
Sometimes, right? Too much analysing other people, like that. That's why even today with social media, right? There's a lot of people that can't, like I've said it before, but there's a lot of people that can't differentiate between what's real and what's fake. Yeah? And comparison, I've said it before, comparison is the thief of all joy. Especially with social media today, where everyone's posting a lot of people are posting a fake life, like they're really living it up and really, and there's lots of people who are just on social media that are seeing these things every day, thinking to themselves, why am I not living it up? If you see what I mean, trying to compare their lives to someone else's life, and that's not how it works. Don't ever compare your life to anyone else's life, because the life that you've been given, regardless of whatever you've been through or what, good or bad, or what experiences you've had, that was the life that you were supposed to have, regardless of whether or not you enjoyed it or not, or you thought it was good or bad, if you see what I mean, or pleasant or unpleasant, if you see what I mean. That's the life that you were, that's what that was your outcome, so you shouldn't ever like be jealous of other people or what they've got. If you want things in life and you aspire to attain a lot of things in life in terms of like wealth or material possessions or whatever else the case may be, it's up to you to get up every day and try to work hard to try to figure out how to get all that, if you see what I mean, and come up with some kind of a plan, if you see what I mean, but a lot of people would rather be jealous of other people, and you also get people that are jealous to the point too that they might even think about committing a crime against that person because they're jealous of them, if you see what I mean, trying to break into their house or to rob that person, because we know those things happen too. People get jealous of other people and see what they've got and target them, if you see what I mean. You even see it happening today with celebrities and other people, footballers and stuff, especially in London and other places. Get lots of stories of footballers going out and about with their family, but obviously he's earning £250,000 a week. That's £1 million a month before taxes, so about 600,000 a month after taxes. He's walking around with 40 to 50,000 pound watch on, Rolex or AP or one of these really nice fancy watches today. People see it online, and that's what people do today. You get a lot of people that do that shit. They'll watch someone online to see their lifestyle, see what possessions they've got, so that when they're out in the streets, they will target them. You see what I mean? Take it and try to rob it. All like we're talking about, all because of jealousy, because of wanting someone else's you know?
I mean, I look at it like if you add everything,
Yeah.
Absolutely everything, lots and lots of money, whatever, lots of, castle basically,
Yeah.
add everything.
Yeah.
What can you achieve in life once you go things? So
But
it's nice to have something to,
Mm.
like climb for in life in a kind of way. It's like a lot of people actually they get rich and they think, they feel quite helpless because they've got nothing left to do in life. Do you know what I mean? In a funny way.
I don't think you can ever have everything, you know? You might be able to have everything maybe from a financial perspective, maybe, if you're that wealthy, where you have billions of billions or something, or hundreds of millions, if you see what I mean, or billions. But you might still not be happy as a person, if you see what I mean. That's why I think in life sometimes it's compromises. It's something compromises we have to make, if you see what I mean. It's like, if you want to have a wife, if you want to have a family, let's say, for example, as a hard-working man or whatever the case may be, you know at the end of the day that even though you might be providing financially and everything else, you still have to put a certain amount of time into your home life in order to make that work.
Oh yeah.
If you see what I mean. Because otherwise, it's not going to work. She's still going to become unhappy. You could buy her all the Chanel bags, all the whatever in the world, if you see what I mean, and she'd still be, if you see what I mean.
Depends who you meet, really, doesn't it?
Well, eventually, because if you're never there, and none of her financial needs might be being met, but her emotional needs might not be being met. Her psychological needs might not be being met. She's not being stimulated enough on an intellectual level, from communication or conversation, because she might be living alone, because whatever, or just with the kids. There's more to it than just financial as human beings. Yes, that is a great asset to be able to have, because at the end of the day, when you've got a certain type of money, you can kind of attract anyone you want, because there'll be someone out there that will come along for the ride, if you get what I'm saying, because of the money you've got, if you see what I mean. So yeah.
It does make, having a lot of money does make things a lot better.
Yeah.
I can understand why we're living in a jealous world today, do you know what I mean? Because not everyone's rich, are we? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's only a few that are rich, really, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? And then the rest of us are not rich, if you see what I mean, Or struggling to be rich, or become rich.
It's true.
If you see what I mean. That's the world we're living in, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think a lot of jealousy stems from that, for sure.
Yeah.
Through poverty.
Yeah.
People being poor, poverty,
Like I say, having a lot of money does make a big difference to your life. Do you know what I mean? It just sort of like, you can put your feet up, basically, and the world's your oyster.
Yeah.
You can do what you want almost, and as long as you're wise with your money, do you know what I mean? And don't spend it all on alcohol or whatever and kill yourself, do you know what I mean? But that's the world we're living in, like, it's very hard to, sort of get on the property ladder today, isn't it? The ladder's very long today, let's put it that way, And it's like me, I don't own any land, okay? But why should I get jealous of people that own land in any way, I feel like owning land's a big responsibility in any way.
For sure.
And it's a kind of headache to yourself, and I'm kind of free of those kind of responsibilities, do you know what I mean? But I think it's very unfair where most of the population, I call them the public, the general public, don't own any land.
Yeah.
But then you've got a handful of people that own all the land, do you know what I mean? Or they're selling land to other people, whatever, And it's causing a misery to mankind, if you ask me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's turning our world into a jealous world. And it's like even at work there's competition, like trying to get up to be the supervisor or the next, there's lots of positions in some different jobs, and it's like a competition there to try to get up to the top, and get more money, earn more money in the hour, and all this kind of thing, And people are always gossiping at work, aren't they? Sort of, how much does he earn an hour, how much is he on?
Yeah.
It's all about how much people are on today, do you know what I mean? And I find it very sad in a way, in a kind of way, this world.
Yeah.
In a kind of way I wish there weren't any rich people, in a funny way, and we're all sort of like in the same boat.
Well, I don't even mind there being rich people, but there shouldn't be any poor people. That's for certain. There shouldn't be any poor people, because
not an intelligent world we're living in.
If someone has X amount of billions of dollars, they could give everyone £1 million. They could give loads of people. They could give people. They could give X amount of people £500,000 or whatever.
Well, money is just.
You know what I mean? It's like you could essentially, if you had a certain amount of money, right? If you had a certain amount of billions of dollars or whatever the case, or whatever you want to say, you could essentially